In this video, we will show you how to modify existing column setups and how to create brand new ones. We begin by clicking on View Column Setup. By default, Maximizer highlights the column setup that I am currently using. In order to make changes to this column setup, I slide over here to the right and click on Properties. In this dialog box, top to bottom here is the same as left to right up here in my address book window. If I wanted to, I could change the name of this column setup, and of course I double check to make sure that it's accessible to the public so anybody else in my office is also going to be able to use this column setup. I decide that I do not need the column entitled Division, so I highlight it and delete it. Similarly, I do not need Department. I highlight and delete it. And I decide I would like to have another column here, so I will click Add. Maximizer reserves the column space for me. I slide over here and click Insert Field. I've decided I would like to have Account Manager identified, so I click on it. I notice it's selected, and I click OK. I'm going to increase the space available for Account Manager in case somebody has a relatively long name, and I'm going to move this up my list by clicking the up arrow, one click at a time for one movement, and there we are. Then I'll click OK, and I will click Use Now. You'll notice that the division and department are gone from over here. Account Manager is exactly where I asked it to be over here. If I decide I want to create a brand new column setup, there are two simple ways to do it. Way number one is to click on View, Column Setup, identify a column setup that has many of the characteristics I want, and I click Save As. I give this a name. I'll call it My View, and I'm off to a great start because I already have a lot of my columns identified. In this case, I'm going to add a column that's drawn from my user-defined fields. I click Add. I click Insert Field, I close up my basic fields, I select my user-defined fields, and I pick Customer Interest. It's selected, I click OK, and I click OK again, and I click Use Now, and the new field I selected shows up over here at the end of my column setups. The second way to do this is go to View, Column Setup, and click Add over here on the right. Not Properties, not Save As, but click Add. I give this column setup a name, and I'll simply call it Test, and you'll notice there are no defined columns as yet. So I begin by clicking Add, sliding over to Insert Field, and for consistency's sake, I'll come down here and select Entry Type icon and click OK. Keep my mouse button here, click Insert Field, and come down to Entry Type and click OK. I've now defined my first column. Let's pick another one. I'll click Add. I'll go to Insert Field. This time I'll pick Account Manager and click OK. I've added another column, and I'll finally add one more. I'll click New Column. The space is reserved. I come over here and click on Insert Field, and for sake of argument, I'll close off my basic fields, pick up my user-defined fields, come over into Sales, and I'll pick Annual Sales and click OK, and click OK again, and click Use Now. And there it is. Obviously, I need to have a little more space for things. I make some modifications here as necessary, remembering that Maximizer will remember those changes that I've made, and I'm away to the races. Now, at some point in time, I may decide that I do not need this column setup at all. So I can come up here to View, Column Setup, identify the one I don't need, and press Delete. But Maximizer advises me I cannot delete a column setup that is currently being used. So I click OK, I pick another column setup, I click Use Now. That switches me over to that one. I come back to View, Column Setup, highlight the one I don't want, and click Delete. Maximizer asks me if I want to do this, and I click OK, and we're done. I click Close. And that's how easy it is, folks, to create and or modify column fields in Maximizer. Bye for now.